You gotta love it when equipment comes with built-in oil jug holders. Well, let's see if this old dog will fire up. Youch. Should really improve this seat someday. Uh-oh. We are really gonna see how well this parking brake works. She's sitting downhill pretty good. So as you can see, it's stirring. I got it idled back now so it ain't blowing out there so hard. And basically what you have to do to switch it from blowing out that pipe to that pipe, engage the hydraulic. Yep, wrong one. And if you'll watch on the side there, there's a little door that changes it over. And there you go, you're loading. We used to have to do that every load. I could switch it to run the remote, but I don't know. Like I said, we don't really have to. Well, we're off. I kind of kept this load small just because of the way the tractor was downhill. All the weight of the tank was sitting right on the drawbar. And granted, I've known these things have pulled a lot. And probably got a pretty tough drawbar, but that's a lot of weight on an old drawbar that's not as heavy looking anyway as like a Magnum is. So I just figured instead of snapping the drawbar and the tank coming forward into the back of the tractor, maybe I'd just call a little early. We're gonna go spread it. And we are painting. Busy day here. Already got a traffic jam. One load down. Well, this tire looks a little flat on top. And it is flat. God, it's so dirty. Well, we will go into the shed and see if it'll take air anyway. Hopefully. Because I'll tell you right now, if I gotta buy a tire, I'm just losing a duel. Just screaming along. Yeah, my homemade rain cap came apart. Note to self, just buy the $15 rain cap. It ain't worth trying to make your own. Yeah, now that I think about it, I did hear a big psh. I thought it was just me going through a puddle, but hopefully one of these cracks didn't let go. Who would have thought that 30-year-old tires that sat in the shed for 15 years would go bad? I mean, they look so new, so good. They're so good looking. Oh, hell. Yep. Someone had puppies. Oh. Alright, this tire is shot. And what is this? 30. Oh, I'm terrible with tire sizes. I want to say it's a 34. And I doubt we have an old takeoff of a 34 anywhere. because I don't think anything else is a 34. Fudgems. Fudgems. Well, got a decision to make now. Well, correction, it is an 18.438. I thought it was a 34, my bad. And that increases the chances for finding a new one, since it's not a tiny little one. But instead of worrying about that now, weather's good. I'm gonna go take that one and roll. What in the... This thing's like a goddamn spaceship after being in the white. I am still the world's greatest backer-upper in the world. Well, back to hauling. Can't say I'm happy about it, but what do you do? Gotta get this manure out. I guess that's why we got 2 tanks hooked up. I was hoping someone else would come along and run the second one. And after thinking about it, I'm pretty sure I'm just gonna pull the duals off the white. Probably just leave them off, because honestly they are... I shouldn't say they're a pain, because I'm sure there's someone who will tell you how great clamp-on duals are, but they are not for me. I am, what the kids say, not a fan. And quite frankly, it was 2 more tires to have to worry about. And I'm pretty sure the reason it actually blew out was where we run tractor and tank down through. There's ruts there. So I'm sure that dual took all the weight. And yeah, just blew her right out the side. So anyway, this one doesn't have duals on. It should probably fare a lot better. And just kind of thinking, I really don't think the tractor needs duals. And yeah, like I said, there's just a pain to put on and off, and if I don't have to deal with that, that'd be good. So I think that's my verdict. We're just gonna pull duals off. If traction becomes an issue, I'll maybe start considering putting new tires on it, but who knows? We'll see how it works. Till then, we're gonna keep on hauling. The orange tank really wings it out there a lot wider than the other one. Spreading at a breakneck speed of 2.6 miles an hour. I tell you, it is quite different to go from the white to this thing. Just different. Got this fancy little shifter here. Set one between my legs. I don't even know what to do. You know those days when you should have just stayed in bed? We had our second breakdown. It's just driving along and all of a sudden I heard a pop and some rattling around, and that PTO shaft isn't where it needs to be. Yep. That'll do her. I'm not super sure what this all is. That shaft just separate from this coupler deal. Oh man. Wow. I should have just stayed in bed today. When I woke up and said, let's go outside, get something accomplished, I should have just said nope. Got one broken tank, but this tractor is good to go. The other tank is good to go, but the tractor's good to go except for the wheel, which I really... I don't even know. I'm going to check what time it is. I might just call it a day and milk cows. I don't... God. Well, I tried to grab a hold of that stub shaft there and turn this over, and I got about a quarter of a turn and then a big clunk. So I'm guessing what happened, because it happened before, it didn't do this, it just made a bunch of angry noise. There used to be baffles in this tank, and as they get older and manure's corrosive, yada yada, pieces of the baffle will find their way into the impeller. So I'm pretty sure that just acted as a shear pin when that piece of steel came in, and that was the weak point. Last time this happened, the impeller was pretty wore out, so when the steel came in, it just kind of rubbed on it and just made a bunch of angry noise. And we replaced the impeller when we had it opened up to get the stuff out. Apparently when you got a nice new impeller, it'll just grab it and snap. So I'm gonna let this thing drain out good and figure out what I'm gonna do next. Gonna have to unbolt that, unbolt all this, pick it up, pull it out, reach in there. It's usually like a 6" by 6" angle iron. They basically had like 4 foot by 4 foot pieces of flat steel, and then the 6" by 6" angle iron going up and down on either side that would hold it all in, and they're just coming out. I actually pulled one of the pieces of flat steel out of this, which doing that is not a fun job because I do not go into manure tanks because that's a good way to suffocate. And so basically you just poke something in there all the way to the back, which this thing's probably a good 16 foot long. You got a hole up there and a little hole up there, but that hole's only about 10 inches by 4 inches. So there's also about that much sand sitting in the bottom of these things, which I try to clean out when I do pull things off, but it sets up pretty stiff and there ain't no getting it out. It just adds more weight, and something you really don't want a bunch of weight, but it is what it is. Apparently this thing wasn't as empty as I thought it was. Well, we got that, got the tools, but before we get to that, we got lunch. Yeah. Alright, so actually this is going to be pretty simple, pretty straightforward, hopefully. Last time we did this, I thought it was. Basically, pull all these bolts out there, these two that support this whole little thing, and then we can just slide this forward. I probably should have got a strap to put under that between the frame rails on each side to kind of support it up, but if it falls, it falls. I really do not care right now. So I'm going to get to buzzing all these bolts off. Alright, we got those two bolts out, all of these bolts except for this one. So let's see if this thing just flies apart. Well, she split. Nothing's draining out of there, so it must actually be empty. That'd be a big plus, because I don't want to get covered in poop. My pop can fell down. Poop. Well, I double checked everything, and all the nuts are off, but I cannot get that to budge, so I'm going to run in and grab a pry bar quick. Alright, got the pry bar, got it worked open as you can see there. I gotta pick up all this stuff, and I think the only way that I can do this by myself is foot here, foot over there, grab on to these rods there, pick it up, and so yeah, I'm gonna break my back. But here's the impeller. I'll show it to you in just a minute here if this actually works, or I just break my back and fall down and cry. Oh man, that is a lot heavier than it looks, but I did it. Nope. So this here is what caused our problems. Let me check here just to be sure. Oh yeah, yep. See, this is a slurry tank, and that's a piece of pipe. That ain't slurry. Looks like it chewed her up pretty good. Chewed it up a lot, actually. Hell, this thing had fins like that on it. Yikes. That sucks. These impellers aren't cheap either. Cripes. Yeah, that thing was supposed to basically, it comes all the way out to here and goes like that. That thing's only like 2 years old. Every single one. Yeah. I don't know if that's another piece of something there. Probably better clean her out. Goodbye, clean hands. Alrighty, my phone's dying, but we're gonna bust a nut and try to get this thing all put back together. I'm still gonna have to probably just weld this back together, I'm thinking, because that collar just sits on here. I don't know if that just sheared off or what the heck that's supposed to be. See, this part will spin freely from this part. There's shear pins in there, but for some reason, instead of them shearing, it just snapped off this coupler deal here. I don't know why. That's a weird one. Must be all rusted up, seized together. But, alright, I'm gonna get this thing in. Well, I forget where I last checked in. We had it off and everything. Get it back on, and all of a sudden it starts doing this. It shouldn't be clunking like that. Why is it clunking like that? Oh, I'm gonna have to pull it off again. Yay. Well, I think our trouble is coming from this little thing right here. That's right about where the sound was coming from, and that's the only thing that sticks out. I'm gonna go get the old cordless grinder and chew him back a bit. There was a stud here, but it broke off. This should, sorry about that, this should spin this way, so that'll just suck air. That's fine. Everything's fine, except for that. Well, it wasn't until I started grinding on that I realized this is the steel, this separate part, and it's eating into it all here. Come over to my impeller here, and that bearing's out, and it's also slid way out on the shaft. We got some problems. Well, we skipped a few steps on the rebuild project here, but now my main issue is I got a new pillow block back there. The old one was shot. New bearings, new locking collars. But now my holes ain't quite lined up. I don't know if these locking collars are thicker than the old ones or taking up more room or what the heck's going on, but we're gonna have to figure this situation out. Well, this project has turned into just no fun. That's what I get for saying this is gonna be easy and simple. Currently I can't find the adapter that I pulled off that shaft. It is somewhere. But there has been one silver lining today. I drove back out to the tank to get the PTO shaft to figure out what kind of adapter that was, and I still have no idea because I can't find it. But when I opened the door and got out and I looked right over here, I found my Bluetooth speaker. Sometimes you have to take the little wins. Nice. So I have spent a good hour looking for that adapter, and I found it. Here's the well, whatever you want to call it. If I just pick it up, move it to the side, how about that? I got nothing to say for that one. That's just, sometimes I'm not the smartest. Yeah. Well, just got back from the machine shop. If you'll remember that coupler that I couldn't find, I found it. And if you'll remember, I just thought it went from the big round keyed to a smaller round. Well, it turns out there was a PTO shaft. The old 6-spline 540 shaft hiding inside. And you can see where it torqued that pretty good. I mean, that should be straight. But yeah, just sheared it off inside there. So they threw it on the lathe. Trued it up best they could. And welded her back together. He said it's not perfectly true, but trying to find that part. I could order it, but that part was out of stock and it just went back into production. It would have been 2 to 8 weeks. So hopefully this one lasts 2 to 8 weeks. So we're gonna throw this on here. And the only reason I didn't know there was a coupler on here was on the back side of where this goes into. Should have been one of the slide collars. And now I gotta think of where I'm at here. Oh yeah, the PTO shaft's on my truck, so that don't make sense. But that goes on like so. It goes on that end, and then where the PTO goes on. So like I was saying, the PTO shaft is in here, and it left a little nub of just the round part that pressed into that other piece. And I didn't know what the heck was going on here. Here the buttons were in, and this should be the slide locking collar on that shaft. But all that was gone, and since I don't want to buy a new yoke and everything, I'm just going to put those buttons back in that hold the shaft in, put a little piece of pipe over it, tack weld it. Hopefully that works. Okay, maybe this will explain it better. So there we have our PTO shaft in there. We're going to slide that in. You can see the little groove in there. We take our little keyed pieces here. Let's just slip in like that. And then they're going to slide this collar over it. If it'll fit. Might have to do some hammering there. But we're going to slide this collar over it. And just throw a little weld on there to hold it. Got it? Now we got a collar on. It's all locked down. I'll throw some welds on that. I don't know if I'm going to hook this up yet or wait till I put that part on the tank just so I ain't got to deal with the PTO shaft flopping around trying to do it. But yeah, almost close. We're almost close. I do have to drill a new hole in this sleeve that kind of just keeps the shaft from moving. I don't know, somehow it got shorter or longer. Whatever, not a big deal. I'm betting my impeller isn't sitting as close as it should be for some weird reason, but I don't know why. But before, this impeller was slid off the shaft a good ways, so I know it's got room, so no big deal. Well, we got her all put together. I would start hauling her, but there's a 100% chance of rain for the rest of the day pretty much. So yeah, we're just gonna take her out back and park it. Gonna get the chopper unhooked because we are officially all done with chopping, and get that one on the other tank probably. The white with its flat tire, we had the tire guys out yesterday, so I had them take the tire off the bead for me. I just gotta go get a tire, which my uncle had a used one that has a slice in the sidewall, but it's not all the way through. He took it off, yada yada. He said I can have it if I go get it, so I just gotta go get it. And yeah, but tank is put back together. I'm gonna call that a video. This whole thing has probably been the whole video. So we'll catch you on the next one. Subscribe and like and comment and share to all your friends and your mom. And you can call your mom. Later.